Hi, Inka. Hi, Ramatu. Hi. Got a few more people joining. Hello, hello. For those of you joining for the first time, this is our regular Thursday, the last Thursday of every month when we get together to share ideas, ask questions about your Amazon journey, your product journey so far. So please feel free anywhere along the line. If you've got any questions, pop them in the chat and I will come to your questions. I've also got people that can't be here tonight that have asked lots of questions. So I tend to talk away, waffle on, mainly about product. But if there are questions, please just put them in the chat. You don't have to put on your cameras if you don't want to. I know a lot of people are coming home from work, getting the kids in bed and doing all of that stuff that we do as parents. So that is absolutely fine. So I am going to get on without further ado, and I'm going to share my screen. So again, if you have any questions, please pop them in the chat. And my screen is doing something a bit strange. Let's just check you can actually see my screen. Okay, hopefully, guys, you should be able to see my screen. Let's just make this into full screen. Can everybody see my screen? Yes, good. Yes, perfect. So, I thought I'd start off by asking you all a question this time, because normally I get straight into it. These are really the 7 key stages to launching your product on Amazon. Okay, first we have our product research. So product research can start with an idea, or it can literally be you looking through AMZ Scout, looking at the trend reports, could be looking for the high PL scores, or you could be starting your research in the product database of AMZ Scout. So there's loads of different ways you can start your product research. But first stage is always research. The reason that we research, I know it sounds stupid, but you wouldn't believe the amount of people that come to me that make a mess of their product business. They haven't even done any research and they've already invested thousands and thousands of pounds into product. So number one is product research. Always. Even when you're a big brand and you've got lots of money, you still research that niche just to make sure the product you're going to launch next is going to win. The second thing is supplier sourcing. Now, for most of you guys, you will be sourcing through madeinchina.com, global sources, Alibaba, one of the major sourcing platforms. The beauty about when you get into product is that because obviously I'm sort of big, my background is beauty and in the beauty space, I have a list of suppliers that are not even on Alibaba. So that's where I can get ahead because I know people in Korea and in all different countries. Eventually, once you start doing this more and more, and it becomes your main business, you'll meet suppliers at trade fairs, different places. So you'll start to be able to source different products that people can't get. At the moment, when you first start out, you're normally on one of the major sourcing platforms, and that's fine. We all have to start somewhere. Then we look at the branding and the packaging. So once we've got the research, we've got the product, we've got the supplier, that's the really important part. That's when we look at logo, brand name. Can we get the trademark? Can we get the domain name? What is that going to look like on pack? So for instance, what's my boxes going to look like? What are my colors? What are my brand guidelines? Are they bronze? Are they white? Are they pink? Are they black? Are they blue? Am I a fun brand? Am I more serious? So again, looking at emulating that onto the pack. And when you do your box layout, it will be like this. It will be a flat layout. So imagine you've got a box and then you flatten it. And your artwork, she says, dropping it. This is called a cutter guide or a deco. We just do the artwork around here. Okay, this is one of my products on Amazon and in TK Maxx. And again, you just do the artwork around. Okay, depending on, again, what are your brand colors, what are your brand guidelines. So that is number 3, branding and packaging. Super important. Barcodes, we'll get to those later because that is, barcode is what you get from GS1, but Amazon will give you another barcode. So it's a bit crazy. Okay, then we create our listing. and we go into Amazon Seller Central, because by now we would have opened our Seller Central and gone through all of those steps that you can see in the modules. Remember, besides these calls, guys, you should be going through the modules in your online session, okay? So you create your listing, you populate the images at the very least, and then you can get your shipping, all your shipping labels. It's not until you create your listing in Amazon will you know where the products are going to go to what FBA, because there are lots of different FBA warehouses in every single country, and you're not going to know exactly the destination until you create that listing and that shipment plan. Okay. You then need to decide, are Amazon going to prep all of your products, or are you prepping them at factory level before you send them in? I would always, if you can, prep them in factory, not you physically going to China or wherever you're making your product, but you get your factory to prep them. So that's putting all the labels on and making sure everything's addressed into Amazon FBA. Okay, then we deliver the products into Amazon, and then we launch and we market the product. And of course, we optimize and then we scale. We don't just launch on Amazon and we're a millionaire overnight, else everybody would be doing it. If this wasn't difficult, you wouldn't be on a course, you wouldn't be learning how to do it properly. It is a difficult business, but it's a brilliant business when you know how to do it. So we launch, we market, and then we optimize and scale. So this is really your 7 key stages to launching your product, albeit on Amazon or really being any platform. So what I want to know in the chat is, where are you on this roadmap? And which of these steps feels the most intimidating right now? Now, I appreciate some of you are right at the very beginning, but can you give me some feedback in the chat to where you are on this journey? So these are my 7 key stages to launching your product. Hi to those who are just joining. So are you in the product research stage? Are you looking for suppliers? Are you trying to do your branding and your packaging? Are you creating your listing? Are you shipping and prepping your products? Are you launching and marketing? Are you optimizing and scaling? Where are you in this journey? Can you identify exactly where you are? And if you can, pop me some feedback in the chat, just so I know where you are all at. Thank you very much for your messages. That's great. Okay, it also just gives me a bit of feedback so I know where people are at their journey, so I can touch on those as we go through this evening. So that's great. What I'm going to do is I am going to sort of give you a bird's eye view now into AMZ Scout. But before I do, I'm going to give you the latest. Oh, hi, Leanne. Good evening. We've just got some other people joining us. Let me just let them in. Hi, Mira. Good evening. Good morning, I was going to say. It's been a long day. Hi, Leanne. Hi, Gaminda. So we just started off, guys, just by asking, this is really the Amazon FBA roadmap. So our 7 key stages to launching your product. So all the way from product research, supplier sourcing, branding and packaging, listing creation, then shipping and prep, launch and marketing, and optimizing and scale. So if any of you got any questions, feel free to pop them in the chat. If you're stuck at any of these stages, or maybe you can identify exactly where you are in this journey right now and perhaps what you need help for. These sessions are really good. If you're stuck on any part of the journey, this is your time to ask me questions, and I can live feedback on your product, on your journey, and I can really help you to answer those questions. So don't be shy. You don't have to shout out if you don't want to. You can literally just pop your questions in the chat and I will get to you as I kind of move on. I want to share with you some of the latest trending products. Products that are new to market or they're doing particularly well in the US, and the UK normally does follow suit. So perhaps if these are any of your markets that you're looking at, maybe they can also give you some ideas. Maybe if you're stuck for ideas and you're thinking, oh my gosh, I just need to find a product, but I still can't find a product. Ramata, you're still stuck in the product research. That's absolutely fine. I'll touch on some product research as well. If you've got an idea or you want me to look at a niche, then also pop it in there and we can have a look. I appreciate some people don't want to share that information. Completely up to you. Right. Let me see if I can share with you. I've got to reshare my screen. Give me 1 second. It's not liking me. I'm going to talk you through some products that are doing pretty well. So any of you doctors, medics, nurses, I know I have a lot of those students on my course. Well, this is a practice kit for medical students. Over $45 a month. This is selling for $45, so 46, so we like that price point. And this is doing over $6,000 a month, but remember, it's quite new. So yeah, practice kit for medical students. So yeah, it's got all kinds of things in there. That's a pretty good idea for those medics. Then we've got a portable neck massager pillow, 3-in-1 shiatsu back and neck massager. That looks pretty gorgeous, doesn't it? Imagine like that at the end of a day's work. $59.99, and this is generating revenue, monthly revenue income of over $11,000. So remember, roughly a quarter to a third profit. So probably about $2,500 in your pocket every month. They've only got 122 reviews as well, so it's doing very well. So again, if you're in this kind of personal care business, you might want to look at this in the UK. Is there a gap in the market for this product in the UK? Again, not copycatting, so you might just want to put a different spin on it, but it's worth looking at. For those of you in foods, nuts, very, very good with nuts and walnuts and real blueberries. So again, look at that, over $35. So we like it, $37 and over 16,000 in revenue a month. These are all monthly, and you can see it's just going up and up and up and up and up. And then we've got some outdoor ice cooler folding table with extra storage for party seasons, over $20,000 a month. So again, you know, you don't have to just like be into one niche. You can pick, you know, something that you don't know that much about. If you're really stuck and you don't have many hobbies, some of my clients don't have that many hobbies, but maybe you do entertain. Again, that's a great thing, you know, entertaining. There's so many products in entertainment. A wooden phone dock, so over $28,000 a month. Again, $23.58. So again, just ask yourself, would you use a product like this? You know, are people looking to store things to make things look more neat, maybe on the desk or in the entrance hall or whatever? And then for those of you who like gold watch for women with vintage rectangular case. So again, kind of like the Cartier-esque watches, but a lot cheaper, and $46,000 a month. Can you believe that? $46,000, just this one gold watch. Look at the revenue. And it only launched in February. That's crazy, isn't it? So that would tick a lot of boxes, small and light. You could get it here fast. You know, it's not seasonal because you can buy it gifted all year round. Good price, $30, £30 for us, wouldn't it? Something like that. Well, it'd be like £40, but we'd probably put it lower. And then we're into the Korean eye masks, those cooling down under eye bags, absolutely huge in Sephora and in the beauty space right now. And again, they are just flying off the shelves. Nearly $30,000 in revenue, and they're $32. They probably cost like $1.50. Crazy. Baby wipes. How many baby wipes do people get through when they've got babies? I know I've had 3 of them, lots and lots and lots. And these are sensitive and they're organic. So of course they're good for the baby. Manuka honey and coconut oil. That sounds amazing. $70. $70 for wipes. Wow. You must get a few in there. Over $60,000 a month. I know with wipes you have to order quite a lot, but again, good product. And dual piston brake caliper. Have no idea what this product is, but for those of you who like DIY, again, could be a good product. Over $10,000 a month, $34.99. And last one, engraving pen for metal. So for those of you who like your DIY, who like engraving. This is a good one. Nearly $20,000 every single month. Can you imagine that in your bank balance? So that will be quite nice. So let's have a look in the chat. I have some feedback. I have some questions. So I'm currently looking at the database for fast selling products. What would cost less to start off with? Well, it really depends. I would recommend if you're wanting to get in and you want to sell fast, the issue that you have with fast selling items is that you need to order enough to be able to compete with the bestseller. So you really need to look at how many units are they selling a month. If they're selling like 2,000 units and you only have £1,000 to spend on stock, then you're never going to be able to compete. So you better to go for a lesser volume category, be able to compete and become the best seller, and then increase your stock levels. People want to sell best-selling, quick-selling products, but if you haven't got the right amount of stock, you can't compete. And again, you still go through the same steps because you need to differentiate in your product. So you need to be able to find a product with differentiation. You can't just take a product and think that, oh, it's going to sell fast. So you've still got to sample. You've still got to make sure that you're getting feedback for the product, that it works, that it's good. And then is there a difference to the other product that's selling a lot? So fast moving products, small and light, definitely, and differentiation. Products that, I mean, really there isn't one category because there's products in every single category that sell fast and sell well. It's just trying to find something that you can add value. What you don't want to do is just take exactly the same product and sell it again. What I would say is that you can look at things that are really happening now. So, you know, like we've had, is it paddle tennis? All of the things that are coming in, all of those things are great to jump on because they're not seasonal, but they're quite new. So you might be able to pick yourself a niche in that market. But I would definitely start off with small and light because that way you can get products in and on Amazon. The difference between small and light, so like for instance, if it was like a fountain pen, not this pencil because we know this is too cheap to sell. So you had a really nice fountain pen, or you had a really nice watch. I just wear Apple watches because I like them. But if, for instance, it only costs you $2 or $1.50 to fly in, well, this would be way cheaper than that. But it's easy to replenish your stock. So you get paid, you get your stock, you bring it in. So small and light is a very quick way of getting stock in and out. If you're not bothered too much about that and you want to build a brand, there's obviously less competition in the oversized and the bigger stuff, but you have to put it on the ocean. So you have to be able to put that 45, 50 days, you have to tag that into your, you know, your sort of product replenishment. So you just have to be really aware of that. So hopefully, Ramato, that's answered some of that. Mira, hello. I have an operational question. When I return product, easy to be repacked. How to request repacking instead of removal? Okay, if you are FBA, Amazon will decide whether they repack it. So what Mira's asking is, if she has a return in her FBA business, can she choose whether Amazon repack it or whether they put it back into stock? The answer is no. Amazon will make this call. So they will look at your product, and if it's been ripped open and the box is rubbish or it looks terrible or it's been used, then they will destroy of it or they'll remove it from your inventory. If it's like in perfect condition, it's just that someone's literally opened it and gone, don't like it, sent it back, which is what it should be, let's face it, for a return, then it will get put back into good stock and it will become available to be sold again. But Amazon will do that. Make sure when you open your Amazon account, you also put your return address in there because, and you fix the settings in your Amazon Seller Central, because if for any reason Amazon want to return stock, but you haven't put a return address in your Amazon Seller Central, they will destroy the product. Okay. And if you have any problems getting the products into Amazon and you haven't put your address and they've emailed you to say, we're going to remove this and we're going to get rid of your inventory, they will remove it and they will destroy it and it will not come back to you. So you have to be very careful that you make sure you put your address in there when you open your Seller Central.
Mm. Yeah, I put my address and everything, and it came in yesterday. The product, it is exactly what you say. It was opened. Oh, I don't
Right.
like it, and returned. I mean, like absolutely perfect product.
Yeah, it's
So
crazy.
I can't understand why they. That's why asking, because
Yeah,
I was wondering. I was thinking that if it's just like open or just the top of, I don't know, easy to repack, they will
yeah.
repack it, but no, they
And
returned
then
it.
what you will have to do is just resend it back in, which is it's a bit of a bugbear, but unfortunately, that's what happens with Amazon. And it's sometimes they look at it and they decide, oh, it's not good enough to send to customers. And then they, remove it and send it to you and you get it and you think, it's perfect. What are they doing? But that's Amazon. They're not perfect by long stretch of the imagination. Um, is that with your smaller product?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Why the same listing text takes ages, some variation going well and others not visible at all? Are you talking like color variations of the same listing?
Yes. Oh, I saw that it's wrong written. Yeah. So the different colors,
Yeah,
but even for the same color, different sizes.
yeah.
Two of the sizes are going very very well, and the others are not visible at all, as zero. And I can't
Hmm.
understand why it happened.
Have you set them up correctly with all the keywords and the back end search terms?
Yeah.
And are they the pages showing lower ranking?
Mm, they are on page 2 and 3.
Hmm. I'll have to have a look at that one off. I'll have a look at it for you, Mira. Just send me the links after, because it might be a bit too much for the guys here tonight, because it will probably take me a while to dig into.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, but we'll dig into it. Sometimes, again, a great question. We have this a lot. So I've just started selling some new products on Amazon. It's actually something that we're selling in TK Maxx, but it's kind of not just an Amazon strategy. But we had the same thing with one of ours. One of the products smashing it, doing so well. Other product losing rank, and we were ranked probably about 10,000 behind the other product. Naturally, sometimes some of the products index higher, so they're indexed back.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
And it sometimes can be you need to reshuffle the keywords in the title, the bullets, the description. Sometimes it can be adding new search terms, re-optimizing the listing. It can be the ads. It can be a whole host of stuff. So it's really like a process of elimination. Um, have you done Vine? Have you got reviews on these products?
A couple. Yeah.
Okay, because that should really help you as well. Um,
Yes, but
but
for those that were selling, I've got
yeah,
reviews. But for those that I haven't, obviously I don't have any.
okay, so
So the
that would
gap will get
really,
even
yeah,
bigger.
yeah, that would really, really help you if you could get reviews on the products that are not selling well. The minute you start to get reviews, Amazon sees that as a real positive. So they'll start to rank the product higher. So it may be worth you getting a couple of reviews on those other products. Do you have reviews on the products that are doing well?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there you go. So again, that's something very, very simple. For you guys at home, when we launch a product, the best way to launch a product through Amazon FBA is always to do the Vine early reviewer program. It costs around $200, but it's a way that Amazon, so you have to give Amazon free product. You enroll in Vine, which is the early reviewer program, and Amazon will then send your product to their reviewers for free. In response, they will then do a review for you. It's not always a good review, so you got to make sure your product is A1. But you will get sometimes videos, you will get images, and you'll get reviews, and they'll happen really, really quick. Because what's important is when your products launch on Amazon, within that first 10 days to 2 weeks, you want to get as many reviews as possible. You know, for yourself, how many products have you bought that have got no reviews? Yeah, if you've got 30, 40, 50 pounds to spend on someone, are you realistically going to spend that on a product that doesn't have reviews? Or are you going to think, oh, that's got 10 reviews, everyone's saying good things? Which one are you likely more to buy? So you've got to help yourself to get your products to sell. You've got to get those early reviews in. And you can't just ask like your mom and your dad and people that live with you, because that will have the same IP address and Amazon will know that it's a fake review. So you've got to make sure you go about it the right way. And you definitely don't want to get your products deactivated when you've just gone to all of this effort of research and buying and suppliers and branding, getting it to Amazon, and then it all blows up in your face. So I would say always do Vine. Even though it's a cost, there's always going to be a cost to setting up your business. A lot of people say, but we have Trademark, we have stock. That is business. Like if you set up a coaching business, if you set up a hairdressing business, you got to get a shop, you got to get staff, you got to have electricity, lights. There's always going to be a cost to doing business. And when you launch an Amazon business, as long as you know your product is fantastic, you will get the sales. But it does take a while, to build up the stock levels, to build up the reviews, to build up everything you want to build up within your store. And you may go on to sell lots of different products with different margins. Some might give you 15%, some might give you 30%, someone might give you 20%. But at the end of the day, if you're making margin and you're making good margin, then that's really what you're aiming for. So even if it's a margin blend across 2 or 3 or 4 products. So they're really good questions. Thank you, guys. Great questions from Mira and also great from Ramatu. So again, if you are stuck in your product research, you either go download the free Pro extension, go to Amazon and start searching, or you go into the product database. For those of you who are not sure about what to do, if you haven't watched module 1 yet, there are lots and lots of softwares out there. There's Helium 10, there's Jungle Scout, there's so many. The reason that I recommend AMZ Scout to start with is because it is literally so easy. Like even my kids can do it. It's really, really easy to navigate. So let me just show you. If you are in Amazon and you've downloaded the Pro extension, you can literally search anything that you want to. Okay. So if you're just thinking of some ideas before you go into the main database, or you've got 6 ideas for free, because obviously AMZ Scout give it you for free for the first, I think it's like 6 goes. So let's say, for instance, we are looking for, let's have a look at some of these top offers. What is this? Let's look for a fan. It's been hot, hasn't it? It's been lovely and hot. We're like in Italy or something. It's been so hot. I think we're getting more hot weather tomorrow. Okay, so look, say I want to get a desk fan. So fans and cooling, let's say, let's do desk fan. Desk fan. So I might come up with some ideas and think, is this a good idea? How do I know if this is a good idea? So I'll go into Amazon. I want to sell in the UK, so I'll go into UK Amazon. For those of you who want to sell in Germany, it's .de or US. US is obviously the biggest market. UK, we're tiny, tiny, tiny. US, 10 times as big. If you've got money, you want to invest and you want to go big, then obviously US is the market. You can make way more money. Some of my students, one of my students is just launched in the US, and they're doing straight away huge numbers, but they have to have huge stock. So you can't do it initially if you haven't got the amount of stock. But it is something definitely to consider if you have the money, if you have the backing. Okay, so literally then all as I do is I go to my AMZ Scout. I've got the AI extension as well. So it analyzes everything with AI, which is just super brilliant because it gives me improvements. It gives everything at my fingertips. So what I'm looking for as this loads up, this is everything to do with desk fan. This is the keyword desk fan. So when you have a listing on Amazon, we look at the most searched for keywords, and we make sure they're embedded everywhere in the listing. So we don't keyword stuff, but we make sure it's there. And again, you can see hot, which means these all have had a 20% uplift in the last 3 months. It makes sense, doesn't it? Because at the moment we're getting super hot weather, and probably in the winter these are going to be terrible products, because in England it's freezing, as you know, and we get rained on all year for like 6 months. But right now it's looking very, very good. How can I tell this is a good market? Over here on my niche score, we're into a 7. So really anything over 7 is very good. 8, 9, and 10 is the best, because the higher it gets to 10, the better. It's green. The indicators now are a 7, so still pretty good. Visibility score is lower the better. This means that only 1 out of 10 have discovered this niche. So again, it's a great niche. And the average, if I took the average of the category, that means all the rubbish sellers and all the best sellers, the average is 82,000 a month. Seems quite high. I will sanity check that in a minute. Oh, actually it is, I can see it all here. Average selling price of £33.50. Monthly sales. That's 4,000 units. So you need to have 4,000 units to compete in this category. And that's what I'm saying. Don't jump into a category and just go, oh, £200,000 a month. If you've got £1,000 to spend on stock, you will never compete. And I hope you realize I'm not just being nasty, because, it's a correlation between how much money you can spend to how much you can earn on Amazon. And that's why sometimes it's not very good to go into these massive categories, but to find a little niche, to find something a bit different, a bit quirky. This top seller that's ranking for Desk Fan is doing over £200,000 a month with one product. Then we've got 74,000, then we've got 54,000, 108,000, 48,000, 996. And they're all the way from like £54, £19, 68. So lots of different. And then you can kind of have a look over here at kind of what they are. Okay, so you've got the basic one here, haven't you? Most people have got these at home somewhere. Those things in the middle fall off, and the things around the side, a bit rubbish, but most people have those. And then some people have these, really, really amazing ones. And then the little mini ones, they look pretty cool. So if I read across the listing, and again, this drops down at the side, we can add it to our tracker. We can look at the profit calculator. We can even analyze it with AI. So is there a way to make this product better? You can analyze it. Okay, what improvements would they recommend you do to this product? And then you can go and see if you can find that. We also know that this product sells for £54. We know the FBA fees are £11.91. We know it's an LQS of 78. This score is out of 100. There's a lot of information here. This seller has been here since 2021. And when I look at the top 4, they've been here, or top 5, they've been here since 2021 and 22. Then we've got some new sellers here coming in aggressively. And then again, back to sellers 2010. Wow. Wow. We've got some historical sellers here. 2019, again, doing 85,000. So again, sometimes it just takes time. Things don't always happen straight away. You don't start selling on Amazon and you're like, yeah, I can retire. It's a gradual process. The first product might be good. Second product might be a bit better. Third, and then you're really starting to understand, this is really, really good. I'm building out my brand. The other thing to point out, when you're looking in category, you can see the brands. So what do we see here? We see Probreeze is number 1, Cooney, Opia. We know this brand, don't we? Russell Hobbs, Sweetful, VM. This doesn't have any brand dominance. What I mean by that is I'm not seeing like the top 5 products, Russell Hobbs, or the top 5 products, Philips. We've got brands I've never really heard of. Cooney, who the hell is that? Sweetful. These are just probably either Chinese sellers or people just made up a name to get the trademark. So again, Honeywell, of course, we've seen this one. This one's mega, 300 grand, this little thing here. Every year, same. So again, very, very good. Now, if I was to delve a bit further on this, I mean, we're just getting started here. We just looked at one product, all right, because it's a bit hot. So I was thinking, what can we look at? Hi to whoever's joining us. Good evening. we can look for the PL score as well. The PL means private label. And this score, again, gives us indicator scores. Amber, it gives us green scores. So this is a particular good one. These are good. And what do they have in common? Yeah, they're small, they're desktop. I'd have to dig into them more to have a look. But again, red ones definitely not. So I'd be digging into these green scores and seeing why they are a green PL score versus a red or an amber. So there's loads here. Just on this page, you can see all the different brands, what category, what the PL scores are, what their rank is, estimated revenues, what are the sales. Literally so much. Okay, how many sellers are selling this actual product? Some are one, some are two. That means that somebody might have the license to also sell the product as well as the main seller. So lots of information. So you can start here, or you can start in the main database. But again, these are the kind of things we're looking for. Visibility score low, niche score high, PL score high, okay? LQS low as possible out of 100, so you know you can improve it. So lots of indicators there that really help us. Do I use the option of Alibaba or Amazon manufacturers to make the products? Ramatu, I wouldn't use, yeah, I would just go to Alibaba first of all. What's really good about this product? So let me show you this. So if you're on here and say, for instance, I'm like, okay, this is a great product. Let me find one. Actually, I'm just going to put my glasses on because now I'm getting, that's better. So 47. So I'm going to look at this one. Okay. So for instance, I'm going to drop down this sidebar. And the good thing about the software with AMZ Scout, I can go straight to finding it on Alibaba. So for instance, this one's looking good. So I go straight here. And I've already got it. Okay. So then what I would do, don't always be, think that the 3 stars is better than the no stars. You do have to have a look because it can mean that it's better. But sometimes it's just that maybe they haven't sold this fan at this particular factory, but they've got all the certifications, etc., etc. So do always check. So straight away, I think 1,000 acres. Do they mean 1,000 units? Sets. Straight away, I can see from roughly $14 up to around $20, $21. Okay, that's without shipping. These guys, I think, will sell it for like 65. So I need to get the price down. But then what I would do is click into one of them, start looking into the factories. Okay, so again, things that I'm looking for. Okay, C, which is great, but remember we're now not part of the EU, so we're going to need UKCA for this kind of product. So I'm going to ask the factory. Well, I'm actually going to look at it first, actually. So what I would do is have a quick scan, click into the factory, 20 years professional fan manufacturer, boom. Okay, we've landed on our feet. Been making fans for over 20 years. Already, I know that they are very good because they're making for Aldi, they're making for Costco, and I've also made product for some of these, and I know that you need really high levels of certification. So you can see on that slider, then you could just see all the logos. So I know these are going to be a good supplier. Now what you've got to do as a newbie, as a small fry, you've got to try and negotiate really good rates, etc. But of course, first of all, you order the samples. So if I wanted to sell a fan, I lived in a hot country all year round, I would probably go, okay, let me look at all of these fans. I would research all of Amazon and make myself a spreadsheet, and I would start putting in, okay, PL scores, niche scores, etc. And I would start to look at what can I get this fan for with shipping and what can I sell it for, and then work out what my strategy would be. Okay, so would I launch with a desk fan? Would I launch with a retro fan? Would I launch with a mini fan, etc., etc. We can already see here that this one's got UKCA, which is what we need in the UK. But again, always check those requirements with your certification. So you can check always on the government website to see what actually we require in different categories and in different niches. So again, from the software, you can click straight through to Alibaba. You can get straight into the nitty gritty, and then you can start looking at the factories. And again, you can tell straight away the kind of certifications they have. They have the ROAS, they have the REACH. They have a lot of different certifications here that could be very, very good. And then you can also look at the company overview here. And you can scroll down. And again, you can start looking at the certification. So they do have UKCA. So again, I check all the dates, check that is the factory it says it is. And again, you've got people here saying, yes, good, excellent. And you can look at their main products. You could even go into products, see all categories, anti-mosquito, plastic 3-in-1, metal fans, you name it, they've got it. So it really is then a matter of going in and looking at that research in greater detail about what could I sell that's different, what is trending now, what's trending in the future. And you can even have a look around their showroom. So you can look around their showroom, you can look probably at the overview of their different machinery as well. So lots and lots of information just by having a dig around, having a look, where do we start, what do we like? And the reason I always say to you guys, if you're not sure what you like, think about your passions, your hobbies. Have you got kids? Do you play tennis? Do you play golf? Like, what do you do that's kind of a bit different to everybody else? What do you know more about? And for that reason, so that you can get the samples and actually check it out and really know more about these things than anybody else. Let me go to some questions because I know we are running out of time, as we always do. Okay. So Ramatu, the way you get it from Alibaba when you purchase it to Amazon is you open your Seller Central account and you create your listing. And from creating everything in Amazon, you get your barcodes and you then send them to the factory and then they put them on the packages and they send them into Amazon for you. You need to go through all the modules. So if you start at module 1, that is all about finding your winning product. Module 2 is about how do I now, I've got my product, how do I find a supplier? And then really from there, I start to explain every single step-by-step of the journey. It is quite complicated. I mean, people like Mira, who's on her second product, you know, even Mira, you know, she got really confused with barcodes in the beginning, and we had a laugh about barcodes because it is really, really confusing. But you just work through it step by step. And all I can say is once you've done it once, you're like, ah, now I know. Create my Seller Central account, buy my barcodes from GS1, create my listing, populate the products, create your shipment plan, send it to the factory. Factory send it into Amazon. Amazon recognize it because it's got your labels and your barcodes, and you put your tracking information in. Then you start to sell it, and Amazon do all the picking, packing, shipping, and all this kind of heavy lifting. So it's actually quite easy. The first time it feels like, oh my God, what's going on? But it is actually just following the steps, step by step by step. So hopefully that answered a few questions. Yeah. So just keep going through the modules. Obviously, you've got WhatsApp support from the team as well if you get stuck. Have a look around Alibaba as well. Really have a look at the suppliers. There are other great suppliers like Made in China, Global Sources. And of course, there are a lot of suppliers also outside of Amazon as well. So if you do get stuck, you can always ask the team and they may have some suppliers that they can help you about. I got a question about barcodes while we're on them. Always make sure you buy your barcodes from gs1.org.uk. Remember that you need to buy them from the global standard place, because if you buy them cheap online, and you can buy barcodes, if you type in on Google, like buy barcodes for cheap, you can buy them. But the problem is a lot of them have been used for other products. And when you go to put them into your Seller Central account, Amazon immediately suspend your listing and say, this one doesn't belong to your account. So for 50 quid a month, 50 quid a year, where you get 10 barcodes that belong to you as a brand, it's way worth it, because it's actually it's basically the global standard for barcodes. Nobody's ever going to quiz you about your barcode being wrong from global standard, GS1. But if you buy them on the black market, then it can literally pull down your whole Amazon account. I've had people that have gone through, done brilliant products, and then literally sent the products into Amazon, and then Amazon has blacklisted that barcode, and then they've got products stuck because they've bought it from the wrong place and they didn't buy it from GS1. They tried to like save $10. Worst mistake you can ever make. So just don't buy barcodes unless they're from GS1. Trust me. So in terms of barcode, do I use the same bar? No, new barcode every single product. So there'll be a barcode for every single product. It's like its identity number. Okay, imagine it's like a driving license for a human. Everyone's got a different number. Okay, it's really, really super important. Yes, Mira's answered you back as well there. Yeah. So again, just keep them separate to begin with. Down the line, you may have a parent listing. When we get into listings, we may have a parent listing and children, but we get into that later on. This is all kind of more advanced stuff. But always have a new barcode for every product, and then you won't get stuck. Some people do launch then obviously different variants, so it might be different colors, all of that stuff. So hopefully that makes sense. Are there any more questions, guys? We've got 10 minutes to run. I'm conscious that some people need to drop out soon. I know people are putting kids to bed and loads of stuff happening. If you've got any questions, get them in the chat now, because we've got 10 minutes to run, and I can obviously touch on a few more things. I've got some notes here from people. I'm just going to see if I have covered theirs. Also, remember, if you're doing product videos, there's also ways to use influencers to do your product videos. What I'm seeing coming through, and what we're using quite a lot, platforms like Fiverr and Upwork are freelance websites. So if you get stuck creating your imagery, like I've said in the course, you can use these websites. But also now we're getting a lot of influencers putting themselves on these platforms as well. So if you haven't thought about it, perhaps think about it when you're creating your video, to use sites like Fiverr and Upwork for your influencers as well, because there are influencer platforms where you can reach out to influencers, but they're more expensive. But there are influencers now popping up on these freelance websites, and you can actually get them for quite reasonable, like £50, £100, and they make you a really, really good video for your Amazon listing. So you do have to ship them product, but it's also a great way to have, you know, if you've got a product information video, that's one thing, but if you've got a real human talking about your product, describing your product, selling your product, it can be really, really powerful. And we're seeing a lot of conversions on this. Also, you can drive traffic into your Amazon listing. So for instance, if you're selling a blusher or a hair product, or maybe you're selling an item of clothing, you can have a TikTok account, you can have an Instagram account, and you can put the Amazon listing in there. So you can share the link, so people like the product, they can come through and buy on Amazon. Amazon absolutely love it when you drive traffic from external into Amazon, because they know if they're looking at your product, they're probably going to look at another 2 or 3 more products. And you'll also get a rebate on your FBA fees. So it can be a very good way of getting 1, more people into Amazon, but 2, also saving on those FBA fees. So always think, if you're good on social, you're good on TikTok, you're good on Instagram, share the product links, get people driving traffic from TikTok into Amazon or from YouTube into Amazon. Every time they come in, you're going to save money on your FBA fees and your referral fees. And actually, you're going to get a new client, and Amazon are going to be super happy with you. So think about that. Think about influencers. For those of you who don't know what Fiverr looks like, let me just show you. Just going to stop share. Getting some last rush questions in the chat. Those of you who've got any questions, pop them in the chat now. Let me just see if I can share. So let's have a look at the trending. So again, for those of you who are a one-man band, maybe you've got your full-time job still, you're still grinding in the day, but you are working your Amazon business in the evening. You can do loads of stuff here. So you can come to Fiverr, you can find yourself a graphics person, you can find someone to do your logo, you can find someone to do literally everything you need. They do, like, sometimes people aren't that great, but there are some really good ones. I know we've got a couple of people on here, they're on their box layout artwork at the moment, and they're on here. And again, lots of different box ideas that you can give them. Make sure when you do your boxes that you have the importer details. The importer details is your limited company. Make sure you also have on there all of your certifications. So for instance, like if you need to put the recycle, if you've got a PAO date, if you're doing cosmetics, the open book symbol, make sure you've got all of your testing information on there. It may be things like, if you're doing tech and electronics, it may be things like the UKCA that we talked about. It might be like the ROS. It might be the different certifications that you require. Do not put things on there if you haven't got them, because you'll get found out. But on your packaging, make sure you've got importer details. You need to tell them like how to use the product as well. So for instance, like, you can't read that on very well because it's white on brown, but you can see, like, I know it's hard to read, but you can see how to use it, blah, 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 importer details. So you have to make sure you've got all the right stuff on there. Barcodes, normally at the bottom, and then obviously the branding piece is on the front. So again, just the box layout then should kind of stay the same across all the different variations of your boxes, and just make sure that you've got all of those details on the boxes. Do we have any more questions, guys? Do we have any more questions? Let me know in the chat. I think we are coming to the end. Let me just see, is there any more questions here? Branding and packaging, suppliers, we've looked at. One question about searching the IPO. Let me just do this real quick. So if you are thinking of a name and you're like, how do I know this name is not taken by somebody else? You literally will go to the IPO. So say, for instance, gov IPO. I'm going to share my screen in a second, guys. Sorry, I'm just. And this is also where to do your trademark application. It's much cheaper than using an attorney. So you come here and you go to the gov.uk, and it's got everything, how to apply. You can do searches here as well, and literally searching for similar trademarks. So you can literally click on here and you can look. If you just type in actually up on the toolbar, trademark search, you can type in the name you're thinking about and the classes, and it will search and tell you if that name already exists or if it's actually free. And if it's free, it means you can get it. Remember, always get the domain name as well. So get the .com if you can, not if it's 5 grand or 10 grand or something ridiculous. But if you can get it for $9.99, $19.99, always get the domain name because it protects you against anybody else getting that domain name as well. The application, you get a receipt straight back. It takes 4 weeks for them to tell you whether there's any problems, and another 8 weeks for them to publish it in the Gazette, and then the trademark's yours. You get basically a certificate to say this trademark now belongs to you. And remember, you can do that trademark in your name or your limited company name, just depends on how you're setting up your business. So if you haven't got your limited company, but you know your name, set it up in your own name first, and then you can always convert it if you wanted to put it into a limited company at the end. So hopefully that makes loads of sense. Do we have any more questions before I depart? I've got a cricket pickup. One of my boys is playing cricket. So I need to be sharpish on time tonight, else he'll be waiting for me. Any more questions? Any more questions, guys? Lovely to see you all. Lovely to see you, Ramatu. Lovely to see you too, Mira, and all my others. iPhones. Sometimes I don't get your name. I just get like iPhone. But lovely to see you, Yinka as well. And if you've got any questions, do not suffer between now and the end of July. Please let us know. Come through on the WhatsApp. We're always here to support you, always cheering you on from the sidelines. Your success is our success. So any questions, come through. I'm going to sign off and say goodnight. Thank you very much for joining. It's always a pleasure. Oh, I've got a quick question. Oh, no, I haven't. Oh, I have. No, I haven't. Oh, no, just thank yous. Perfect. All right, guys. Thank you all too. Take care. Have a great evening. See you all very soon. Take care for now.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.